and you see my title. And what I want to talk about is, you know, the enemy really wants the chosen ones to bow. The enemy really wants the chosen ones to break. The enemy really wants the chosen ones to give in. The enemy really wants the chosen ones to lose their minds. But on this day, we're going to tell the enemy he got to get somebody else to do it. Chosen ones, we don't bow over here. We don't break. We're going to go through our emotions. We may cry. We may hurt because we know we feel, we process our emotions, right? We process our emotions. We know we're going to go through different phases in life. We're going to go through grief. We're going to be happy sometimes, joyous. There's going to be a time for war. We understand the different seasons. That's what I want to say. We understand the different seasons as chosen ones, right? Yeah, we understand the different seasons. But what the enemy want us to do, the enemy want us to bow. The enemy want us to break. The enemy want us to give in. The enemy want us to take our focus off what God is really doing in our lives. The enemy want us to do that. We got to stay focused. That's how he gets in. The enemy wants to devour the chosen ones. He wants to devour the chosen ones. He wants to devour your children. Yes, he does. He wants you to do it. And sometimes he'll go to getting in these kids too. He'll go to getting in them and you looking like, what's wrong with them? Because he wants you to break. He wants you to bow. He wants you to bend and give in. He don't want you to believe how you believe. He don't want you to believe that things are working. He wants you to be in your feelings. He wants you to feel as if things are not working because of what you see. Thank you, Jacqueline. He wants you to not feel like God is working. Because see, he like to keep us in our feelings. God working in our life is not a feeling. God doing the work in our life is a knowing. We know what he's doing. Regardless of what we feel. Because see, he want us to see the enemy. The enemy is just, he's so narcissistic. He does what he does. Because the enemy likes to keep you in your feelings. Oh, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like getting up going to work. He wants to keep you in your feelings. Yes, he does. Instead of knowing I got to get up. Knowing I got to make myself eat the right things. Knowing you got to get up and take that medication. Yes, he wants to keep you confused. That's what he operates in. That's why the enemy gets in these people. And that's why, they got something called narcissists. No, that's a devil. That's a devil because he likes to, a narcissistic person likes to do what the enemy does because that's his seed. They like to operate in confusion. Operating keeping you in your feelings. You feel like one day you feel happy, one day you feel, no. Joy is a choice. Happiness is a choice. Today I'm choosing to be happy. Enemy don't get to dictate to me how I'm going to be. He don't get to dictate that. I get to choose to be happy. He gonna have to get somebody else to do it. He gonna have to get somebody else to believe the lies he's trying to tell. Oh, you will never do this. You will never get past this. You will never get out of this. Your children will never do. No, the devil is a lie. Oh, the devil is a lie. That's what you think. You got to talk back to him. Let him know that's not what I believe. That's not what I believe. I believe what Matthew 21:22 says. And whatsoever I ask believing in prayer, I should receive it. May not be verbatim, but this is what I believe. I don't care what I see. That's what the enemy, that's what he tries to get us to do. He tries to get us to believe what we hear. He tries to get us to believe what we hear. And also he tries to get us to believe everything we see. But we all know everything we see may not be the truth. This is why I don't run to judge or give my opinion on what I see on television, or what I see, what may look like something, and it's not. Because see, the enemy loves to get in our head and have us assuming things, have us assuming things that ain't even true, and we'll just run with it. We'll just run with it. Because it looks like something. And you got to be careful with that too. I try not to put myself in situations to where if it even looks like something that can be, perceived a certain way, I try not to put myself in those positions. Sometimes you can't help it, but I try not to put myself in a position to where something looks like it's more than what it is. Because the enemy is good at projection. I mean, illusions. That's what illusions. He's good at illusions. Have you ever been somewhere? Now, you married now. Have you ever been somewhere where you're a married person and a thing just look a certain way and somebody comes by and see you talking to somebody of the opposite sex, or see you talking to someone, it could be anything. You don't even got to be married. You talking to somebody who someone assumed that you teamed up with, or just something, and someone passed by that you knew was gonna blow what they saw out of proportion. They're already thinking something negative about the situation. Have you ever been in that situation? I have. Have you ever assumed something? I have. And was wrong as two left shoes. And I was wrong as two left shoes. This is why we can't believe everything we see. Because the enemy is so strategic. This is how he destroys relationships. He likes to project things onto you. Yes, he does. He used projection a lot. You got people right now that are tied to people. You don't deal with them. You don't deal with these people. But these people are still associated with people you are tied to. Because you don't want to be the person that feels like you're controlling how somebody else, who someone else is in a relationship with, who they talk to. You're not that type of person. But you know that these people are just waiting for opportune time to destroy that relationship. You already know this. They'll wait years. They will wait years to use a misunderstanding, to use a disagreement, to use any little misunderstanding, any little disagreement to come in and destroy those relationships. And chosen ones, there's nothing you can do about it. Because the people have to know what the enemy is doing. They got to know what's being done. But they'll wait. When I tell you, the enemy will wait. He will wait. He'll wait that thing out. Oh yes, Lisa, they'll wait, honey. I'm telling you, these spirits will wait. They will wait it out. It is very sad. They will wait it out. But that's all right. That's why you got to change your focus. You got to change your focus. You can't be, and see, the enemy wants to waste your time. Worried about this type of, worried about this. He wants to waste your time trying to control every situation, every relationship. Have you ever been in a place where, you just sitting there hoping, I hope they ain't over there, trying to destroy the relationship. I hope they're not speaking negative. I hope they're not telling those lies. I hope. Oh, that's what the enemy wants. You can't be the police over people. You can't do it. When God told me to come online, start this channel, the responsibility channel, to teach women how to be responsible for their happiness, their success, and their own freedom. The understanding that I got that was spiritual was, I've been through so much, like relationships wise, dealing with people. I have an understanding of how these spirits operate in people. He wanted me to teach on that. And that's what I've been doing. I've been doing it because I got to understand. I understand how slick and slimy the enemy is. I understand how slick and nasty he is when it comes to dealing with people. I've been dealing with it since I was 5 years old. Since I was 5. And I never understood, like, all these different manipulating tactics. I had to learn how to navigate through. I never understood all that. But when God delivered me, when he delivered me, he gave me an understanding of everything that I've been through from since age 5. Yes, he did. He gave me an understanding. And he really didn't reveal to me until a few months ago, the spiritual aspect. I didn't get that spiritual aspect until I started the channel. Then he showed me the spiritual aspect. Like, this is why I want you to do it. This is why I wanted you to start this channel. This thing is more spiritual. I didn't know until I started it. That's why it's good to be obedient, and you not knowing all the steps. Just be obedient. Just be obedient. He taught me. Because, you got some slithery snakes out there. You got some snakes. And it's not the people. It's them being open to the enemy. They have open doors to the enemy. And the enemy will use them because they're open to come up against the chosen one. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Yes, I'm telling you. They'll let the enemy use them. Then they'll come back after they've gotten some sense and come back. And after they done did all that damage, they don't caused all that heartache and pain, then they want to come back and expect for you to just accept them with open arms, as if nothing happened, as if their apology is just sufficient. And it is sufficient. It's enough. If they come back and apologize, it's enough. But you got to be wise. You don't open that door back. You forgive them and you heal. You don't open that door back up. After they've submitted themselves and let the enemy use them to that magnitude, they don't get to come back and spin the block. After you don't did all the work to get yourself out of the spiritual dungeon they've left you in. I don't care who it is. Friend, child, ex-husband, boyfriend. I don't care, mama, daddy. They don't get the right to come back and spin the block after you done did all the work. You did all the work. You did all that work. All that journaling. All that fasting. All that praying. All that coaching. All them therapy sessions. You done did all this work to let them back in, to undo what you don't paid to do, to get done. You don't spend time, you don't spend money. The devil is a lie. No, ma'am. As they would say, no, ma'am. That's not what we finna do over here. You glowing up, you looking good, you doing all that work. You forgiving them. You've looked at what they've tried to do to you, tried to destroy you. People don't try to destroy y'all character. And you looking like, what you doing all this for? It's not that serious. Why you got to go try to lie to make me look bad? You doing all that lying. I'm the villain. I'm the one that did everything. I'm just the most awful person in the world. And you've accepted that. You've accepted your fate. But yeah, you went and you did what you had to do. You got the therapy. You got the coaching. You got the counseling. You went to get deliverance. You prayed. You fasted. Ask God to don't make your heart bitter. You forgave them. You did all what you needed to do. And they think you some type of stupid to let them back into your life. They think you real stupid. And I'm just gonna let you back in to undo everything I've done. All this work I've done. And I know some of y'all, it hurt y'all to your core because it's some of your own children. Some of your own children have did you dirty. And you like, man, that's my baby. But you thinking about the behavior. You trying to separate mama from enemy. You trying to take your mama cap off. You got, that's my baby. You got your mom hat on. But then you thinking about all the lies. Everything they did to try to destroy you as the mother. And you trying to separate the two. But your spirit won't allow you to, like, you know what? That's my baby. But my baby let the devil use them. Listen, you like, that's my baby, but my baby let the devil use them to that magnitude. Like, my baby really let the devil use them. My baby really let somebody else influence them. You looking like you questioning your motherhood. You sitting there questioning like, was I that bad of a parent? And you looking like, no, I wasn't that bad of a parent. My baby let the devil use them. You trying to see where you went wrong. You didn't go wrong nowhere, honey. You didn't go wrong. You did what you can do with what you knew how to do. So you're going to have to forgive yourself for that. You didn't do nothing. Your baby just let the devil use them. Listening to all this wicked, worldly music. Watching all this foolishness on TV. Listening to people want to create issues. They're around people who got mom and daddy issues, and they want to put that stuff on you. They listening to their friends. Their friends got mama issues, daddy issues. They don't have no mom and daddy issues. They don't got issues like that. They don't have no horrific upbringing. They don't have the upbringing you had. You made sure that they had a good upbringing. So they couldn't use no excuse like, my mama wasn't there for me. My mama, she didn't protect me. My mama, they didn't have that. But because they friends had wicked parents, because their grandmother had wicked parents, They let these people project that onto them. And they taking on those people issues. That projection. Oh, my mama did this, my mama did that. They can't relate to that. They don't have no way to relate. My mama was never there for me. I saw my mama do this. My mama did that. My mama had all type of men in the house. My stepdaddy molested me. They don't have that story. They don't have that story. They can try to conjure up some stuff. They can make believe, pretend. They don't have that story. They don't have that story. But they want to create it because the world is so drama filled and pain filled. They want to create a facade. They want to create some pain. Who want to go out there and get pain? I don't want no pain. Get somebody else to do that. But they don't have any drama and chaos in their life. And I was listening to this girl on YouTube. This is the first person I ever heard and admitted to she didn't have a traumatic childhood experience and she was okay with it. The first person I ever heard to really be happy about they didn't have to experience a traumatic childhood. This girl was the first person I heard, because we think having we don't grow up in so much dysfunction. We think a traumatic childhood is a badge of honor. That foolishness ain't no badge of honor. That's not something you want to glorify. It shouldn't be glorified. Appreciate that you didn't have to grow up in no struggle. You didn't have to grow up fighting all these different men off you. You didn't have to grow up fighting, pedophile family members off you. Nasty uncles and cousins saying different things to you. Appreciate that. Thank God for that. That's your normal. Other people don't have that type of normal. Like, people want to create this. I ain't never saw nobody want to create dysfunction. I never saw nobody want to have issues with their mama. Want to have issues with their dad. Because everybody else got issues. No. Be thankful you can go and talk to your parents about stuff that we couldn't talk to our parents about. We were afraid to go talk to our parents without feeling like it's the wrong thing to do. No. I know you got to be a special kind of mental. You got to be a special kind of person to create some issues. This when a person really do have mental issues. A person really got a mental issue when they know they had the childhood that people envy. And they go create a whole facade, a story. Go create a whole issue over something that's not an issue. Because one thing about the enemy, I'm going to tell y'all this. Mothers. Basically, mostly my mothers. One thing about the enemy is using these children against parents. Because one, the enemy knows if the child is disrespectful to the parent, it's easy for him to wipe them out. This is why a lot of these children are losing their lives. And I'm not speaking this. The enemy knows when a child is disrespectful to their parents, he knows that them children's days are going to be short. He knows this. So he's creating issues. As the word already prophesied anyways. The Bible already said it. The word already said it. But he's creating issues because he's after them. He's after those children's souls. He's after their souls. He want them to bust the place wide open. He want that. That's why he's after these children. But what I was going to say, the enemy knows how to get the parents and the children to be at odds. Because the parents, a righteous one, is going to always speak the truth. They're going to always tell their children the truth, and they're going to always stand for truth. And there's going to be a light on that parent, because that parent going to speak the truth. That parent going to tell the truth regardless. But see, this world has gotten into these children, and they're confused in their identities. So what the world wants to do, and what the enemy wants to do with these parents, the enemy wants the parents. That's why a lot of parents are agreeing to their children being confused, instead of saying, no, baby, this is not the right thing. This is not who you are. This is not who you are. But what the enemy does, the enemy is making these parents bow and come into agreement. Like I told my children, I would not hate you. I would not hate my children. I would not deny them and abandon them because they feel a certain way. But one thing they won't get me to do is to come into agreement with that spirit. They'll never get me to come into agreement. I love on you. I'm going to respect you. I'm going to tell you right is right, wrong is wrong. But as a parent, when you come into agreement with that spirit, that's what the enemy wants. You got to let your children live their life. You let your children live, because when they become adults, you can't control them. But you don't have to come into agreement. The enemy hates when you don't agree with them. And what agreement is saying this is right. What they're doing is right. You can accept it. I accept that you believe that. But what you're not going to do is to get me to stand with you and agree that this is the right thing to do. I won't do that. And this is when the enemy wants to create confusion between you and your children. Because your child going to feel like you're rejecting them. No, you're not rejecting them. You're just not agreeing with that spirit. And a lot of parents don't know how to separate the two. You still can love your babies. You love them. You love little Babisha. If Babisha think he a girl, you love Babisha. But you don't agree with that. You don't tell Babisha that. Okay, Babisha, I think how you feeling is right. No, Babisha. Little Babisha, no, baby. I'm not going to come into agreement with you. But you free to be who you are. You free to be who you think you are. But you're not going to get me to come in agreement with it. Exactly, Jacqueline. And that's what the enemy wants. He wants that agreement. Because it's legal and binding. I've experienced it. When I went through my little experience, and I felt the Holy Spirit say, don't come into agreement with that. Oh, yeah, they want that division. Because, see, what the enemy going to do is put in them children's head is that you're rejecting them. And you're not rejecting them. You're rejecting their spirit. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to bow, and I'm not going to be afraid. Because the enemy wants you to agree. They want to get that agreement, that stamp of approval. I approve this. No, I don't approve that, baby. I don't approve it. I love you, but that is not of God. That's you dealing with something. You got to go deal with that, uproot that, and see where it's coming from. What happened to you? What door did you open? Did anyone touch you? Exactly. You got to get to the root of it. Don't just accept it, because most of them children, they've been touched. They've been touched. Something happened to them, and we don't want to believe it. We don't want to get to the bottom of it. What the enemy wants us to do is just think that's normal. No, it's not normal. It's not normal. And you don't hate folks because they that way. And that's what the enemy wants. The enemy wants. And then you see all this confusion. You see what's going on in the world. It wasn't enough for you to say, okay, that's how you are, fine. I love you. I can love you that way. It wasn't enough. The enemy wants your agreement. Your agreement is everything. Your agreement is everything. And there's nothing you can do. And I'm going to say this and I got to go. There's nothing you could do to make a person feel comfortable in what's not right. And what the enemy wants you to do as the light, as the righteous one, the enemy wants you to bow. It wants you to come into agreement. It wants to make you feel like you're being judgmental because you don't agree. It's not that you're being judgmental. You just got to stand for what's right. Because chosen ones don't have a heart to be wicked. We don't have a heart to be wicked. But you're not going to agree with something that your very spirit is against. That's what the enemy wants. And when you stand for something, it's going to hate you the more because you stand for something. You got boundaries. Yes. There's certain things you will agree to and there's certain things you want. You won't. And this is when the enemy goes after your character. Yes, it does. This is when the enemy goes after your character. When you don't bow. You're not this, you're not that. You did this, you did that. But you got to know where all that's coming from. When you're in tune and when you're spiritually mature, you got to speak on the stuff that the enemy is doing. That's how you silence him. That's how you eradicate his foolishness. You don't sit there and be quiet. You don't come and you don't be nasty as if you got you're angry. You don't know. You don't do that. But you got to speak on what he's doing. You got to shed light on his plans. Yes, you do. You got to shed light on it. You can't sit and be quiet and you see him move. He's back there playing chess. And this is when you know when you need to be praying more, when you need to be fasting more. Yeah, it's spiritual warfare, Alfie. That's just what it is. And so you got to be aware. I had to learn this. I didn't know any of this. I had to learn this by going through it. I had to learn this by enduring it. Understanding what had just hit me. Because what had happened was, I'm like, what in the world? I was dizzy. I was a little dizzy bumblebee buzzing around trying to figure out what's going on. And it was all spiritual. It was all spiritual. And I had been hit in a place where I wasn't prepared for. I wasn't prepared for that. The Lord was equipping me, but I wasn't prepared for it. Oh, yeah. We got to experience that. It's definitely an experience. And you got to stand. You can't bow. Because the enemy wants you to fold. And you got to keep praying. You got to keep believing. Keep binding that spirit. Keep coming up against it. keep telling the enemy, oh, the Lord gonna use this. Yeah, you got to have boldness, Jacqueline. Even when people think you're crazy, even when people think you're too religious, because see, people throw that up and they don't understand that you're dealing with something spiritual. Half of this stuff is generational. Half of this stuff is generational. And you, the chosen one, got to stand up against it, even if you got to stand alone. Even if your family say you wrong for standing up, because they too coward. They too weak. They weak. You the strong one. They don't want everybody standing up against them. They don't want everybody coming up against them because they can't stand in the hot kitchen. What they say, if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. That's why you had to go through what you had to go through. That's why you had to be lied on so much in your life. Because God was equipping you when the lies come, you can stand up still. Although you being lied on. Although your character is being tainted. Family members talking about you. You're not going to be nothing. You're this, you're that. Because you fighting the demons in the bloodline because you was a addict. Because that's what's in the bloodline. Because you had the experience being an alcoholic. You had the experience being a drug addict. Because you didn't know you were fighting generational curses. You had to be the one to be touched. Only to find out 50 other people in the family was touched. And you the one that's going to say so. You the one that's going to speak up about it. They'll gang up on you. To make you feel like you the crazy one. Because, you know, when you got a lot of people against you, you feel like you the one wrong sometimes. No. You got to remember, righteousness, when you right, a right don't have a crowd. It's wrongdoing that's have a crowd. You got to remember that. When you standing up for what's right, you're not going to have a crowd. You're not. Let's tell the truth, shame the devil. You're not going to have a crowd. You're going to be all by yourself sometimes. You and one other person in the family that's trying to break the curses. Speaking up and standing for what's right. It's going to be you and one other person. Everybody else too coward and scared. Everybody else too weak-minded. They followers. They're not bold enough, strong enough to speak up. That's why they mad at you. Who you think you is. I know she ain't talking. All that what she been through. All that what he been through. He used to be a crackhead. He used to be this. He got all them kids. She this, she that. Oh, they want to bring up that. They want to bring up your past. I know she ain't talking. Her mama this, her mama that. That's what they supposed to do. That's what they supposed to do. You were fighting the same demons they were fighting. You were dealing with the same demons they were dealing with. But you were strong enough to say, you know what? This is wrong. This is wrong. I got to say something. The enemy like to keep you in silence. The enemy is a molester. The enemy is a predator. You know what predators do? They know exactly who to prey on. Yes, Lisa. They know exactly who to prey on. They can see something in them little children that they're not going to say anything. They can see the ones they can groom. They prey on the ones that they can groom, and that's what the enemy does. The enemy knows who's not going to say nothing. Who won't stand up against wrong. The enemy knows the weaklings. That's why, Lisa, this is why God tells us we overcome by telling our testimonies. He didn't tell us that. God's so wise. He told us that because he knew the enemy would try to use our past against us. That's why we overcome. When he brought me online, I thought about all the things that the enemy would want to bring up. And God gave me a rebuttal for everything. Everything that I've ever gone through, everything that I've ever experienced, God told me this what you do. You say this your testimony. He went down the road. He went down the road. And I'm like, Lord, I don't want to get and do that because people can say this online. They can say that online. I went through my history. I dug up everything from my history, from my past. And we all got a past because we're broken. We were broken. We were fighting generational curses. We fighting our generation of curse. We fight witchcraft, family doing and witchcraft and voodoo that family members putting on you. So yes, you're gonna struggle. That's what gonna make your testimony all the more juicier. That's when God gonna get all the glory. You don't hide from your testimony. Your testimony is to let people know that there is a God. You talking about what you've been through, what you overcame, is going to give someone else hope. And let them know, oh, it's a God. God did that. This girl, yes, God in her life for real. You don't hide from that. You don't hide from that. You shed light on it. When the enemy want to bring it up, now you don't just go spilling all your business. But when the enemy is trying to use something against you, to make you look bad, I got that. I was taught that lesson in my clubbing days. In my clubbing days, when I used to be in the club, and when I was being promiscuous, what they say, when I was out there lost, because I didn't know who I was. When I was out there lost, didn't know I was a chosen one, didn't know my identity. I had to shut the enemy down to let them know, yes, I didn't have a father. Oh, yes, I was looking for something to fill the void. I was looking. Jesus, I almost cried just now. Looking for something to fill the void when only God was able to fill that void up. But God protected me. Things could have been worse than what they were. So you got to let the enemy know you ain't going to shut me up. Because the enemy want to shut the chosen ones up because people are going to get delivered just by your words, chosen ones. You gonna get people gonna get delivered by your testimony, by your words. And the enemy don't want that. The devil don't want that. The devil gonna come for you. You got to be ready. And that's before I make this channel. I'm like, I went down the road of all the things. You go to, oh Lord, I did this, I said that, I did. And the devil and the Lord say, so? It's not about you. That's what I felt in my spirit. This is not about you, girl. Don't be making this about you. Yes, I was making it about me. What if no, I got something for all that. Anything that the enemy want to bring up, anything in my past, I know how to shut it down. Anything, because I'm not going to be, and that's the thing. I'm like, Lord, I don't want people to know this is the World Wide Web. Shut it down. It's not about you. He said, you got to believe I'm going to protect you too. You got to believe I'm going to protect you in certain things. Because when people come up against you and what I told you to do, they coming up against me. So whoever put their mouth on you, I'm going to put my mouth on. I'm going to put my hands on them. That's why some of these people who going to speak up against y'all chosen ones, and I'm not saying this, I'm not prophesying, this is what I know. I'm not, speaking this on folks. This is what I know. That's why some of the people who going to speak on the chosen ones, and they going to just drop. And I'm telling y'all are not going to believe it. And y'all going to think, people going to think this is not God's doing. What God to do that? The God that's protecting them. So you got to be careful who you put your mouth on. That's why I tell people, I don't speak on folks. I don't speak on people. If I'm not touching them. I'm not putting my mouth on people. He gave me this message a couple months ago. Be careful who you speak against. And if you speak against somebody out of ignorance, you better repent immediately. That's why I don't speak about nobody. I just do my assignment, and I come here and I talk about what the Lord put on my heart, whatever download, and I speak on that, and that's it. I'm not speaking against nobody. All these people exposing this, exposing that. No, I'm exposing myself. I'm exposing myself and what I've gone through, what I've experienced. No, I'm not gonna speak on nobody else. That's not what I'm doing over here. Nope. That's not what this channel is for. I ran across somebody's channel because I like listening to different YouTubers, right? And I ran across somebody's channel, and on this person's page, and this is very dangerous, very dangerous. On this person's page, they call themselves exposing people who they say are false prophets, this, that, the other. I mean, people who I know serving God. And that's a dangerous place to be. Exposing this, exposing that, this person this person that, this person. That's not what you want to do. That's not the type of posture you want to be in, where you got to go put your mouth on every person who's speaking a prophetic word, and it doesn't align with what you think. Never mind what God says, but it doesn't align with what she thinks or whoever this person is, because they're a coward. They're hiding. They're not showing their face on their channel. They're just speaking. And this is when you know it's the enemy. The enemy throw rocks and hide his hand. She don't have no pictures of her, this person. I wouldn't tell you the name because I don't want you guys to go look. She don't have no pictures of her on her page. But she talks about everybody who have a prophetic message. That's not where you want to be. That takes too much. If you feel like somebody's a false this or a false that, you pray for them. Ask God to open their eyes. But you don't go make a YouTube dedicated to exposing. That's not what you want to do. That ain't wise. I felt some type of way listening to some of that stuff. I didn't listen to all of it, but just going to see all the people who this person put up to say a false this, a false that. That's not what you want to do. That's not what you want to do. Not in this season. Not in this season. That's not what you want to do. But I had to come deliver this message, you all. I had to come deliver this message. I really did. So I hope you all be blessed. You know, I got to go. Take care of some business, run some errands. I hope you all be blessed. Okay? Be blessed. Y'all have a good day. And always do what's right, regardless of who's with you, who's on your side. You're welcome. Esty Commentary. You're welcome, dear. Always stand for what's right, even if you have to stand alone. Don't let people shame you. Don't let people make you feel bad because you standing for what's right. Their right is not your right. Their right is not God's right. Don't let people make you feel bad because you stand for what's right. You're not coming in agreement with stuff. You can be everything they want you to be. You can be anything they want you to be. But one thing you know you're not going to be. You're not going to be a coward. You're not going to bow. They're going to have to get somebody else to do that. And it won't be you, chosen one. Be blessed.